Merry Christmas, right? Trying to work on my Santa Claus laugh. Man. Oh, ha 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 ha. Oh, man. Oh, ha ha. Merry Christmas. Ha 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 ha. At last, Merry Christmas. I'll have my day. That's some Santa Claus would say. It's his day. It's Christmas Day. Well, it's not his day, but he's one of the main characters. I'll tell you that much. Boys and girls. Ha 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 ha. Good laughs. Good. You know, the same similar sound. I've heard that. I've heard Santa say that before. Right before he comes, like it's ha 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 ha. Merry Christmas. You've heard that noise before. Soothing, some might say it, eases babies when they want to take a nap or fall asleep at night. Nothing like the smooth Santa just belching out a couple of Merry Christmas. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, it's almost here. Today is December 23rd. Thank you for joining me. Glad you made it. It's another So-So production. We're doing it, baby. It is Friday. We're going to hang loose. If you've been with me from the get-go, thank you very much for all the love and support. You know who you are. Sending it right back at you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Wherever you are in and around this beautiful planet. If you've just joined us today, follow me on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube for the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadri every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It is a weekly podcast. This is a silly little podcast with a silly little man. Not so little, medium-sized man. That's right. With a silly medium-sized man, just trying out things, doing activities, thinking about stuff, writing, farting in between. Good Lord, ladies and gents, what a year, what an incredible year. 2023 is upon us. It's right around the corner. Christmas is here. Man, oh man. And what is Christmas? Let's begin. Let's dedicate the day, obviously, to one person. Or a spirit, or you know, or a or a ghost potentially, or the trifecta, some like to call him. Jesus was his first name. Christ was his last name. Mr. Christ. Jesus Christ. Okay, so it's about this lovely gentleman, and it is his birthday. He's the original Godfather, if you will. He's the who is Jesus. Just to give you the gist of it, from my understanding, he's the OG Godfather. He's literally both God and a father to all, which is a lot of children. Got a lot of children. Lots and lots of children. You know, and that's what it is. How does it all work? I really don't know. I really don't know. It's a little bit of miracle work, little dash of miracle. Little bit of belief, a little bit of that. Oh, what is this human spirit that we all share? It's the human spirit that we all share. That's what it is, man. But it's about Jesus. It was about this fella a few thousand years ago, you know, roaming around somewhere in the Middle East, probably. You know what I'm talking about? Somewhere in, like, you know, the Holy Land, amongst, you know, in there doing his thing. He was a fellow who liked to work with his hands, the man of crafts and arts and crafts, a physical man, not a man that will get physical, but he did like working his hands, so that is a physical feature, you could say. And he hung out with everybody, which was nice, which was tight. I'm talking people with leprosy. I'm talking people with, you name it, gonorrhea, syphilis, the blind, the half-blind, 3/4 blind, he'd chill with them. Full 20/20 vision, no discrimination, he'd chill with them as well. Sometimes he do crazy stuff. He'd be, I don't know, I'm not too familiar with all his miracles, but he could make it happen. He could make it happen. The famous ones where, y'all are familiar with turning water into wine. You know what it is, walking on water. Thank you very much. And others, and such other things. And I should mention today, by the way, in Toronto and the East Coast, actually, and all of Canada and the East Coast, probably hitting a little bit of the US as well, we are having a first major snowstorm. It's a blizzard out there. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's a snowstorm. If you're driving out there, why are you driving out there? If you're walking out there, why are you walking out there? If you're biking out there, why you biking out there? But I get it. It's the holiday season. You're all like, oh, family, oh, friends, places I gotta be, faces I gotta meet, faces I gotta kiss, hands I gotta grab and hold on tight just to be like, oh, remember holding hands? Oh man, this feels good. We're a family. And such activities, licking each other's faces, because this is, I think, the first official, but this is the first proper Christmas, so this is the first time you get to really go in there and wet willy grandma and grandpa, give a nice Reggie to all your cousins, punch up the old bowl of drink that you've got in your household, eggnog, punch. It's fruit punch for the holiday season. It's Christmas. I'm assuming some of you guys are indulging in punch it up, put a little bit of JD in there, put a little bit of that, dash it with JD, a little bit of that vodka, a little bit of gin, a little bit of, just spice it up in there. I don't know, but drink responsibly, but also it's the holidays. As long as the keys are chucked away, chuck away the keys. I don't care how many hundreds of dollars it costs to replace those keys. Remember, you can always replace keys. So go ahead, if you're gonna be drinking tons and tons tonight, or over the next few days rather, chuck away your keys. You don't need them, get rid of them. They're practically driving themselves. Just chuck it right in front of the, just put it in the ignition. Leave it right, roll down your windows, put the keys in the ignition. That's probably not the best idea. You're probably gonna get jacked, not gonna lie to you. But it's better than you having your keys. Think about it, fam. Saving you hundreds of thousands of, if not millions of dollars. You're welcome, you're welcome. But it is about Jesus, and this fellow was, in my mind, I wasn't born a Christian. I wasn't raised a Christian. I wasn't raised in any religion. It was just in our household, it was there was a feeling of, we do believe in God, but there was no there was no mention of what does he look like? Where does he reside? What's he? Is he this guy? Is he that? It was just be a good person, believe in a higher power of sorts. So I did always have that, but again, if you've been with me for some time, throughout the teenage years, early 20s, probably went through a little phase like many people do, and you're questioning everything. Does God exist? Do gods plural exist? Who knows? You might come to think you're oh man, it doesn't make sense for this. What is this big guy sitting up in the sky? Merry Christmas. And coming up with arguments like that. But you might live a little bit longer and experience certain things that might reveal to you that some things may or may not be seen, but nonetheless they may be true. Or if it's not literally true, there's little nugs in there, little teeny tiny bits of truth at least in there. And what I grasp from Christianity, from Jesus, from Jesus, this fella, is overall, especially again, if you've been with me, these are some things that you guys are privy to. If you've just joined us, not having full access to a parental figure, i.e. daddy-o, in life. I didn't lose my dad too early or anything, but still, 20 years of age, I could have definitely used a little bit of more advice, a little bit of more guidance. But whatevs. Life is what it is. I'm very grateful, very thankful, but always, again, coming back the way I used Jesus, or, if you really think about it, Jesus is using you, man. So that's the thing, man. I just I in my mind, I envision somebody who's really out there just trying his best, doing his best, and I will try to aspire for that, knowing full well I'm gonna definitely fail many a times along the way. But for me, it works in that sense, and yeah, this is the time of year, I guess, to be a little bit more mindful of these things because so many of our daily lives are consumed by consumption, baby. Consumption, daddy. Mommy. Especially around this season as well, holiday season, we tend to forget. Around Christmas, we tend to forget the main things that we're supposed to be holding on to. Community. Family. Gosh, it is really windy outside. It's really terrible conditions out there. I'm not even joking. If you don't have to drive anywhere, if you don't have to fly anywhere, don't, because it's today, tomorrow, overall the weekend is gonna be, it's already mad. It's a mess out there. So I'm not sure if the wind is getting recorded in this video, but that's what we keep it raw. We keep it fresh. I don't edit this shit for the sake of, I don't want any wind in the background. Baby, we're gonna have wind. That's the wind in your sails. That's what's gonna keep you moving. Or ladder, like it's not this particular wind. This will probably want to motivate you to like stay indoors. But in essence, the wind is to be in your sails and like, push you forward and what have you. So that's what it is, baby. And this fella, beautiful fella, some people liked him. A lot of people loved him. In fact, some people didn't. Typical human behavior. Love-hate relations between this group, that group, and the other. Not to go too deep into it because I don't know too much about it. They crucified this fella, okay? And he BRB'd in 3 days, resurrected, and that's what it is. So this weekend's gonna be his birthday, Liddy, and that brings all of us together celebrating a moment in humanity where you can be like, it's nice to believe in something that's like a little bit of a reminder that miracles do happen, a reminder that you're not alone, because guess what? The OG Godfather, that's what it is, baby. He's out there. Good Lord. Holy smokes. Oh, man. These winds are gusty. Yikes. Gotta be careful out there. But also, if you're like weighing anywhere between like 40 to 80 pounds, travel is cheap today and tomorrow. So, just like wear something a little bit breezy. Get in there, baby. Squirrel suit that shit. Today is squirrel suit weather day, actually. If you're like, man, I want a little bit of that dose of adrenaline, baby. I want to go up in the sky and fly with Santa. And that's what it is, baby. You can utilize that to your benefit. Ladies and gents, we're going to talk about a lot of different things today. But I wanted to get this out of the way. I wanted to today it's a little bit of, it feels nice. We had a good year. Looking back, a lot of, a lot of little teeny tiny increments of I hope improvement, and I believe that's holding true for your lives as well. And that's what it is, baby. We make a little bit of improvement, we mess up here and there, we come back, we do it again, we learn from it, we just better ourselves. And that's what I try to do with my life, and I know you guys and gals out there are doing the same. So whatever you're doing, again, I've said it a million times, I'll keep saying it because it's true. We all depend on each other. There's so many wonderful people doing so many amazing things, whether you're in school, whether you're running a business, whether you're running a school business, whether you're running a business school, whatever it is that you're running, I commend you and I love you for you doing you. Keep on doing it, keep on rocking and rolling. We are heading into a new year. It's going to be magnificent. We're going to be kicking butt, taking names, and keeping it silly as a goose. Now, interesting stuff that is, we'll start a little bit gentle, a little bit genteel, and we'll move along and see where it takes us. As per usual, no particular agenda in mind. I came across a little headline or an article headline, or it wasn't even anything big, but I extrapolated a little bit out of it, and I hope to go into this exploring the different version of what Santa Claus is supposed to be, because original Santa, it's about this fat, jolly Santa Claus, right? Typical Santa, big, fat, jolly Santa, wearing a big old suit, got them man tits, got them big old shoulders for lugging around all them toys. And he's bulky. He's all in there. Looking right there, baby, round. As of late, I did hear a little bit of a rumor, a little bit of a murmur, that they wanted to come after, who is this? I don't know. Whoever it is, it doesn't matter. Somebody somewhere suggested that Santa is too fat. Santa should gain, or rather lose weight. Santa should lose weight. That it's not healthy to have a fat Fanta or a fat Santa. That's mad. That's what happens, baby. When you're celebrating before the holidays, you know that's what it is, baby. Sat Fanta. Fat Santa. That's what I meant to say. Point is that somebody suggested that Santa should be a little bit skinny, and I was just wondering, what are the benefits? What are the pros and cons of this shit? What would you rather have? Would you rather have a fat Santa or a skinny Santa? Let's go through it little by little. Let's see if we can gain some ground in this little situation, if you will. Follow me this way, please. Beep, beep, beep. Back it up. Fat Santa. Okay, if you're getting a fat Santa, first of all, you want Fanta to... Man, Fanta. Why do I keep saying Fanta instead of Santa? God damn it. Fuck. Fanta. Santa. Santa. Fat Santa, Fanta. That makes sense. Why would you want Fanta? Fat Santa. You want Fanta because Santa, if he's small, if he's big for a good reason out there, first of all, the fat. The layers of fat. If you're, imagine a day like this, you're traveling exactly on a day exactly like today. If you're skinny up there, if you're a fellow who looks relatively close to me, you're gonna freeze up there. You need that fat, you need that body fat, you need that, like, you know, extra layer of margarine, you need that extra, you know, you got them built-in butter sticks, you gotta, you know, you're sweating some sort of oil or something. That's, you know, that you need somebody who's a little bit girthy. You need somebody who can withstand the winter conditions, because you're not in like the sled is not like a capsule. It's not like an airplane. It's not like where you can, like, it's not like Santa's sitting in his little cockpit, dude. It's all open concept. It's all suicide doors, no rooftops, with a bunch of reindeers. What you know about that? So it's cold up there. You can't have a skinny Santa up there. That's for one. Second of all, you'd like the fella, again, to be wearing a big old red suit. In his big old red suit, he's giant. You can see him up in the sky. If he's tiny, you're going to miss him and freak out. Because you'd like to be able to look up in the sky and be like, what is that? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it Superman? I don't know. It's fucking Santa Claus. On December 23rd, to, you know, rumor has it it's only done on one day. He does get a little bit of a head start a couple of days in advance and, you know, a couple of days afterward as well. Not everybody's going to get it on time. It's a big world. 8 billion people celebrating. Almost 8 billion people celebrating. Some people probably aren't celebrating, but nonetheless, Santa doesn't discriminate. So he's reaching out to 8 billion people, and you want him to be big and jolly so you can find him up in the sky and also up on your radar. That's right. When you're looking at your radar, you're like, where's Santa? Easy to spot. Why? Because he's jolly and big, dude. If he was slim, where is he? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a couple of ducks? Is it a couple of geese? Or a gander? What is it? A skinny Santa Claus? God. No, thank you. Other major points that you should consider if you're like, man, I'd rather opt for a skinny Santa. Think about this, fam. Where does Santa Claus come from? Not like, you know, I'm not going through the old reproduction process. I'm just talking about where does he come into your life? Where does he come from? And he comes from a chimney is what I'm trying to say, okay? And because of his jolliness, because of his obese size sometimes, because he's fat, right? He's juicy like that. He's thick. He's thick. Santa's thick. Santa's juicy, baby. He might have a slight difficult time getting down the chimney. And you're like, well, wait a minute. How's that a pro? Robbie, how's that a pro, baby? I thought we want him slipping and sliding up and down the chimney. Nah, doggy. Here's where you got it wrong, sir. Ma'am. Ladies, fellas. Need I remind you, what is one of the most romantic times of the year? Oh, did somebody say Christmas? Yes, indeed. Christmas is definitely one of the most romantic times of the year as well. So guess what? Right around the time it's Christmas, you put up your little nice Christmas tree. The presents are set right below. There's a couple of decorations hanging up and down the old Christmas tree. There's a little teeny tiny star on the Christmas tree, and you can, whatever. You can think of many other things that might be up in your place. Fake snow, frosting, fake frosting, real frosting. A couple of captured endangered polar bear, just baby polar bears, run around your living room. And hopefully, ideally, you'd got a chimney and you also got your beautiful fireplace burning up. So it's warming you guys up. And guess what? It is romantic, right? The kids are up sleeping. Maybe you don't even have kids. What happens when you have a romantic evening? You're consuming maybe a little bit of dinner, you're having a little bit of wine, and you're looking at that fireplace, and you're looking at it boo-boo, you're like, man, we should fuck right by the fireplace. Am I right? Am I right? We should just go at it right by the fireplace. And guess what? You start going at it. You start going at it. Right by the fireplace, baby. You're on top. You're on bottom now. You're floating in between. You're doing it essentially. All the classic sexual movements that you're accustomed to, right? Top, bottom, in between, doing it. And guess what? Because Santa's a little bit chunky, because he's getting a little bit stuck up in there, he'll find his way down. He'll find, all you need to do is just do a little bit of, suck it in, Santa. He's sucking it in. But that gives you time. That gives you, because you see a little bit of dirt, you see a little bit of debris falling down from the chimney, and you're like, oh, I know this. Santa Claus. And that's where you pull out your big old cock out of your wife's or girlfriend's tight badge, and you're like, baby, we should take this upstairs. Santa Claus is coming to town. Merry Christmas, right? So again, you want Santa to be a little bit around, you want him to be jolly, you want him to get a little bit stuck, because if he's just slipping and sliding right in there, man oh man, and you're knee deep in your lady, man oh man, is that ever awkward? What do you do? What do you do? Do you continue about your business as per usual as Santa is going across the living room and distributing gifts for her? Oh, don't mind me, ho, ho, ho. And you're banging a set? You're going in deep? What do? Do you in the middle of it, you're like, oh my God, this is so good, baby. Right by the fireplace, Santa, help yourself to the cookies. There's milk in the fridge. What do? Or do you be a good guest? Or rather a host? Do you pull out and, where's your robe? Upstairs, man. You left it upstairs. You didn't even have a robe. Maybe you're not even a robe guy. Maybe you're not even a robe gal. No robes. You're naked. Santa's in the living room. What are you doing? Are you gonna be rude? What do? Do you ask him to join in? Is it rude to ask to have him join in? Is it rude to pretend like he's not even there? Do you not invite him in to whatever that situation is? Probably not, but all this could have been avoided had you simply always, go check with, whatever works. Don't need fixing. Whatever is working, don't try fixing it. If you tried fixing it and it was working, you should have probably avoided fixing it. You know those famous sayings about fixing things and leaving good things be if they're working. Let it be. Don't touch it. Don't touch too much. Such things. They'd say stuff like that. So there's another good reason why you wouldn't want skinny Santa, and then that's what it is. Fat Santa. He's fat. He works one day a year, maybe a couple of days a year. 3-4 days a year, let's say. But he's fat. He's tired, and it's good. He's not like he's got energy, but it's like he's doing a lot of work. He's working like all day every day, so that on one day he's performing, doing his thing. But that's what it is. He's jolly. He's chunky. He's dedicated. A chunky man is a dedicated man. All right. He's going back home to Mrs. Claus. The only box he wants for Christmas is Mrs. Claus's box, if you know what I mean. Whereas skinny Santa, man, and this is coming from a skinny man. I don't trust skinny Santa, to be honest. Skinny Santa's a fuckboy, I'll tell you that right now. Skinny Santa's a fuckboy. I don't want him anywhere near my home. Anywhere near my chimney, get away, skinny Santa, no thanks. I want my Santa with diabetes, but a maintained level of diabetes, one that is reliant on a certain level of sugar. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And that's all due to like drinking Coke for many a years. And I can live with that because it's sustainable. It's if he stops, that's when we should be concerned. It's like getting somebody to stop drinking and then they'll, have a heart attack or something. Same thing with Santa Claus. Get him off Coke, he'll die. But guess what? We got tons of Coke, so he'll live forever. Right there, problem solved. Skinny Santa, potentially different kind of Coke problem. I'm just saying, fam. So things to consider before you go willy-nilly, oh, Santa needs to be on a diet. Almost everybody should be on a diet and exercising. One person can get to be fat and jolly, and that's Santa Claus. Okay? I think I rest my case. My case is taking a little bit of downtime, a little bit of R&R, if you will. My case is resting. Leisurely, of course. My case is the type of case that'll rest a little bit and then get up and work again. That's my case. What's your case? Don't even got a case, do you? Guess what? A lot of cases to go around right here. And I got one for you, baby. So what do you think? Do you prefer skinny, slim, working out Santa, or do you want a big old fat guy who can be like, oh, who's this big old jolly fat Fanta? Reliable, trustworthy, a family man. Skinny Santa, hanging around with hookers, you know, trying to pawn off Rudolph because he had a bad hand at poker. I'm just saying that's the type of activities that skinny Santa will get involved in. Fat Santa, you know what you're getting. Point is, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of things are going on, and I heard that, and I just want to put my 2 cents into it as I normally do with everything else that I hear and sometimes create. And I wonder what you guys and gals think. Do you want your Santa Claus to look like he's a recreational heroin user? Do ya? Baby boys, baby girls. What is going on around the world today? Recently, as of recent, this is something, I guess, a lot of people put a lot of things out there in the universe. They're like, God, if I only can have this, you know what I asked for Santa this Christmas. I'm like, Santa, I've been trying to be, I'm trying out there, doing my thing. If I can, it's nothing big. If I can get an extra inch on the old cack, it'd be super. So on Christmas Day, I'll be, I'm hoping it's an extra inch. I'm not asking for 5-6 inches or like a full, just an extra inch. That's all I want. And if not that, I did also write a little note. P.S. If an inch is too much, I'd like my foreskin back. So that's what I want for Christmas. But having said that, you put things out sometimes into the universe, and sometimes you get exactly the opposite. I hope that doesn't happen for me in this particular setting, because then I'll lose an inch. And I'll lose the foreskin that I've already lost. I'll lose more foreskin, dude? Man, that sucks. I can't afford to lose more foreskin. I don't have any. It's gone, essentially. It's just what it is that I can't afford to lose an inch. That's where I'm at. But aside that, what I'm trying to say, sometimes you'll ask for things and you might not get exactly what you wanted. Like a lot of people, for example, in Wales. Wales, up in the UK. Apparently, I don't think anybody asked for this. The majority of people probably didn't ask for this. But it was something that they got. Evidently, they got it. Households in Wales, in the UK, big old Wayland, the Welsh people of the UK, Wales, right? No, from my understanding of just living a little bit, I don't think anybody really asked for this, but now families can have their young children as young as 16 opt for different genders. At 16, children in Wales can now go and be like, I want to switch genders, dude. That's what it is. And that is excellent. That is excellent news. We are making progress. This is great. This is fantastic for the families, for the children, but most importantly, as great as it is for the families and the children, so that they can identify as whatever they want at 16, and the parents don't get any say because, it's 16, that's, so it's great for the parents, it's great for the kids, but so this is Christmas, what about you guys? Do we ever stop and think, my God, what about the corporations? What about the corporations? Oh Lord, will somebody please think about the corporations? Can the corporations get a break? Can big government get a break? Can they just, for 1 minute, for 1 second, for one moment, can they just have access to all of you in all manners of life without you having to throw a little hissy fit? Will somebody stop and think about the corporations and consumerism? Hyper consumerism. Please, ladies and gentlemen. This is not about you. This is not about me. This is not about the children. Stop being selfish out there. You selfish son of a bitch. You, lady, I'm talking to you. You're like, oh, they're my kids. I gave birth to them. I had them in my badge for 9 months. They're my babies. How dare somebody come in there and make it easy for my kid to get confused and reassign their own gender and potentially fall down a rabbit hole of beautiful consumerism. I guess you're not a fan of hyper consumerism, lady. Guy, dude. And I'm baffled that nobody stands up and says, hey, won't somebody think of the corporations? Won't somebody think of big pharmaceutical companies? Won't somebody please just think of big medicine? And did you ever wonder, how hard it is for doctors to, you know how much it costs to become a doctor? A lot of fucking money. It does. And don't you want them to make a little bit of money? Don't you want them to make a little bit of money? You selfish son of a bitch. Lady, I'm talking to you. Like, it's all these corporations want, all these large governments want to do is just have more control over your kids. And all you're thinking about is you and your family. Frankly, I'm disgusted. One day, if we can all pull together, we can see kids transitioning, switching genders as early as birth. When they come out, wah, wah, oh, what is it? Is it a boy or a girl? It said wah, wah. You know what that means? Time to let them decide for themselves, because after all, wah, wah is a clear indication that they know what's up. And you're like, no, I think I know better. Do ya? Do ya? Really? You don't want your beautiful children getting confused? And don't we all get confused sometimes growing up? Oh, body's aching, I'm stretching. Oh, I'm getting tits, I'm getting a period. Oh, my balls are dropping. Oh, what is this extra hair? All that confusion. And you don't want them to be more confused. You want them to have a little bit of stability. You are so conceited. Everything is about you. It's all about you. And meanwhile, all these giant, beautiful corporations that really, it's so hard with all the, they do their best with, they have, all they do is just, they've got a ton of money for PR. They've got a ton of money for advertising and marketing, and all they do is just conduct little think tanks. All they do is they do surveys, and they do statistical research that could be backed up by more statistics and graphs and pie charts and spectrums. And all they want to do is just use the data that is beneficial to back up their perspective. And here you are, okay, trying to stop the transhumanist movement and just be a Debbie Downer. All we want as big corporations is to make Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head out of everybody. Are you unhappy with something? We can replace it with a pill. You can screw it on, you can screw it off, you can clip it on, clip it off. You can add it on, you can add it off. cut it off, patch it on. Bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know that there's innately something wrong with you, and the problem isn't through, it's not solved through spending time with family members, with community. It's not solved by trying to look for answers from the inside. It's not about learning a little bit more along the way. It's none of that. It's not about getting different perspectives. It's none of that. It's about essentially it's about shopping therapy. But all we want to do as big corporations, we just want to make sure that you are both the consumer and the product. And if you are so selfish so that you're not able to see that, so blindsided by the fact that certain actions might have severe consequences for people, it might throw somebody off their life trajectory and have dire circumstances. But if you can't look at the beautiful profits in the many realms, in the many industries, I mean, so many jobs are provided. Because once your kid goes down this path, man, starts off with just let me switch my gender. And that's beautiful. After that, it goes beyond just the wording or phrasing. Now I wanna physically change myself and be something else. And you're depriving them of a lifetime of being hooked on all sorts of drugs and hormones. Why? Because you're selfish and your point of views are bigoted. And again, if children can start getting involved more so in sex gender discussions, the earlier the better. The earlier the better. 16 is far too late. Some of these and the thing is, here's the thing. Some of you guys out there think that, oh, if somebody transitions or goes down this, what if they decide to change back? Good. We want them to change back. We want you to change, and then change back. Every 5-6 months, and then you'll change again. Unhappy? Continue changing it up. Because happiness comes from physicality, from objects. If we've learned anything throughout humanity, is that happiness, pure joy, is attained through objects. Fetishizing about objects. Oh. And again, the ultimate goal is for you to become the consumer and the product, so that you can go around purchasing more, consuming more, and making yourself into a product that also can be purchased and consumed. It's a beautiful cycle. And for you to not be able to see this, for you to be so, gosh, I am, so 16, I say they know too much by then. 16 is it's late. If anything, we can push things, hopefully, with the help of more corporations, with the help of more virtue signaling politicians, with the help of with the help of the right agenda and the right PR moves, we can hopefully get everybody switching back and forth between. And again, this is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. This is I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. Things are looking good out there, boys and girls. And it's funny because this happened, and at the same rate, I did see another little news article which was interesting to me. We may have spoke about this together. I read a little article. It said the Taliban are removing the ladies from the universities. They're saying, no ladies, no universities. They're trying to, Taliban is trying to keep their bitches and hoes in line. And all of a sudden, they're getting hate. Why? They're getting pushback. All they want to do is control their females. And y'all are ignorant. And y'all are selfish. Because yeah, what happened to diversity? What happened to live and let live? What happened to no judgy, but judgy? And it's beautiful because there's similarities, there are parallels between the woke culture and the cloak culture. Very, very similar in many shapes and forms. And I support both. I support both at the same time. I know. I support both. I hope to see more of the Taliban going harder. Really, going harder. We hopefully, because after all, what is what are women doing in education anyway? What are they're only they're only they only provide life and essentially no big deal civilization, no big deal, just the backbones of civilization, ladies. But that's what it is. But at the same rate, there are similarities between the woke culture and the cloak culture, because in both cultures there's a point of control, there's a point of dominance, there's a point of a little bit of BDSM, not gonna lie to you fam, a little bit of that BDSM, whether it's through language or adherence to new norms or sometimes old norms, doesn't matter. In both circumstances, in woke culture, and by woke I mean abusing the notion of freedom. In the name of freedom, you create a space where there is so much abundance, and that in itself becomes a problem because people can't go about their lives. There's just so much choice. What am I today? What am I tomorrow? And in that, there's hindrance. The opposite of that is very much the same, because you don't have any options. There's only one option, no other option, and that can be a hindrance as well. Similarly, in the woke culture, I'm just asking a question because I don't know. I'm learning as I go along the way. I just want to be like, I want to be supportive, right? I want to like that's what it is. If we want to kids transitioning sooner, earlier, let's, you know what I mean? So the point is, woke culture actually has a similarity with cloak culture, as I was thinking about this, because in woke culture, essentially, if you push for younger and younger kids to transition, you would essentially get rid of the population that may or may not have been gay, right? Because somebody might be confused in their adolescence and their youth, and there's some sort of teacher, there's some sort of education system pushing certain ideologies in the name of freedom, acceptance, understanding, and all those things. It's great, man. It's a lot of great things are said, but sometimes used in a way to shield other agendas. In the name of acceptance, in the name of open-mindedness, you get to push along almost anything. And that is, man, that's a can of worms, man. That is a can of worms, because at the end of the day, if you get rid of, or rather if you introduce or if you start normalizing it, because from my understanding, transgender people, bear with me a few seconds. I do apologize. Somebody was knocking on my door and I had to answer it for a quick second and totally lost the trail of my thought. Where were we? Somewhere along the lines of, yes, the population that may be potentially gay, if confused further down the line, may be pushed to, go ahead and pursue another path that might lead them to a more confusing situation, and one that is relatively new. And I'm not saying, I've never said that. I believe there are adults, you should be able to do whatever you want with your body. I have no issues with that. I support it. You should, if you're an adult, you should go ahead and if you want to transition, if you want to be a transgender person, I love and respect you. You should do it hard. You should do it fast. You should do it strong, man, lady. But I'm just saying, there's a portion of it that is, you're looking out for the interest of people. You want equality. You want acceptance. There's that. But there's a portion of it where it feels like, man, there's a good market. More people hooked on more drugs. More people reliant on so many other, you're going to have to, hormone therapy, go on hormone blockers. Your body's going to go through so many changes. And, oh man, testosterone is so strong. I don't understand how people take it very lightly. And I can only speak on this because, again, I've dabbled a little bit in steroid use when I was younger. And I'm a dude. But I'm just thinking, man, if you introduce different hormones, whether it be testosterone or other forms of hormone therapy for whether people are transitioning into male from female or from female to male, whatever it is inherently I don't even know what I'm saying with this. Not gonna lie, lost a little bit of the trail of my thought here with the old knocking and everything. We had a good rhythm going, and then a knock knock. Who's there? Definitely wasn't Santa. But the point is, fam, what I'm trying to say is I just see similarities between the old cloak culture and the woke culture, which is really funny. I find it hilarious, to be very honest with you guys and gals. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday. I didn't mean to get distracted and lose the trail of my thought, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it did impact me just a wee bit, just a tad bit. So you're going on a nice tangent, this, that, and the other, and you're in a zone, and then knock knock, and then you're like, oh, what is it? But that's life, man. That is life. Yeah, because if more people transition, then you'd essentially get rid of gay people. That is not to say that there isn't gonna be. It's not like, here's the thing. If we can have a little bit of. Yeah, I'm just thinking people are being selfish and not letting the governments and institutions and corporations get complete control over their bodies. And let's be honest, you got to stop being so selfish and live and let live. And you gotta consume, baby. You gotta consume is what it is. You gotta consume. And yeah, this is not to take away from the legitimate portion of the population that is like, trans or gay. Because there's legitimate portions of the population that have always been like that, so be it, fine. Although I should say, with that being said, trans people are relatively new. Relatively new. People may have identified as other sex genders in the past, but the whole procedures and the medicine aspect, the Western medicine aspect of it is fairly new. So these are all new territories. And at the end of the day, if you can't open up your eye to the fact that you could be a beautiful guinea pig, or your children can be beautiful guinea pigs, quit being so selfish, quit being so closed-minded. You're like, man, shouldn't my kids be learning life skills in school, taking care of themselves for the, life, how to build a little something, how to cook a little something, how to do your taxes, learn a little bit about interest rates, learn a little bit about, man, what is work, what's this, none of that, man. That is, the future is, hopefully we can discuss more. We can if we can just collectively come together and get these, get the populace to just give into more consumerism and hyper-consumerism. That'll be swell. Just think about the corporations for a second, okay? think about the corporate. There's one or two or three or five or 10 or 20 corporations, very large. And then there's other little branches of corporations under them as well. And again, if you know, how many corporations are there versus how many people? Exactly, a ton of more people. So quit being selfish, put your body, give complete control of your body, mind, and soul to the corporations, the old media outlets that are bought and sold by pharmaceutical companies, and consume, because that, my friends, is, you know, that's stuff like that we should remember. Other than that, I mean, like, you know, what time is it? It's Christmas time. It is a time of family. Is it a time of community? It definitely is. And guess who's a big part of that community? Big corporations, big giant corporations. Man, that knock couldn't have come at a worse time, because I was in a really like, oh, good rant. You're doing a good rant. I thought I was doing a good rant, at least. I don't know. We'll see where it goes, ladies and gents. Other great news that is in and around this beautiful planet that's happening right now. You know, Vladimir Putin, Vladimir Zelensky, these boys are still at it. Here's the thing, you know, a lot of things were like, man, the future is all automated, the future is all virtual, it's VR, it's AR, it's goggles on your face, goggles on your ass, goggles on your cock and on your badge, goggles on your tits, chip in your tits, chip in your cock, chip in your bum, chippy here, chippy there, automation. All this and everything's like, you know, we can predict what's going to happen because there's enough algorithms and enough, you know, we fed the data, somebody fed the data to the machine that's done the algorithms, the math has been done, the zeros and ones have been checked and unchecked, and we can predict that this is going to be the outcome of this thing, and, you know, we can project that, you know, we can reduce these things if only we get more automation, we can predict things with more data, and we need your data to give us more info so that we can predict as to how things unfold. One thing that should be ran on a simulation just for, you know, and it all stops here today, or rather it all starts here today. Starts or stops here today with us together. Why don't we globally, big major events that are putting huge dents in everybody's pockets that could have huge ramifications if left unchecked? Right, everybody? Am I right? Who's talking about trillions of dollars worth of spending globally? I'm talking about the Ukraine and Russia war, of course. It's, you know, it's now in the trillions. I don't know the exact digits because it's hard to find these things, but like I read somewhere roughly around and there's a human cost, there's a financial cost, all of it together is at this point apparently somewhere around 9 trillion, 8 point something trillion, almost 9 trillion. And that was from a few months ago. So what I'm suggesting, why don't we, from now on, let's just, it's Christmas, and let's all get everybody into the Christmas spirit. I'm talking to you, Vladimir. This is both of you fellas. Both of you beautiful fellas. And you're both named Vladimir. Look how much in common you got. You both got the first names. You got the same first names, not the first names. Anyway, point is, you got a lot in common. Why don't we get you boys together? You sit in a nice sauna, do a little schwitz, break out a little sweat, and we bring in a little computer there, and we run a little simulation of like, just run the cost of the war, just run it, put the numbers in, be like, oh, they've got X amount of tanks, we've got X amount of whatever, tomatoes, apples, whatever, all the things, and be like, how much is this gonna cost if we were to like keep on going at it, run it, run a mock simulation of a war. And at the end of the day, once the completion is completed and you get to see the results, and you can go back and be like, man, this costs like 20 trillion, 30, 100, 5 gajillion dollars. Great. And you can see how many lives were lost, how much land was lost, how many resources were lost. And instead of actually losing those things, am I right, everybody? Instead of physically losing those tangible things, the most important ones being human life, you can be like, man, look at that. Look at that program. Look at the numbers there. That's crazy. Let's avoid those crazy numbers because they're already crazy, right? But like, let's run a simulation and see how far this goes. And let's say if it goes on for another 3 to 4 years, because you never know. Am I right? I'm just saying. Run it up and be like, man, at the end of the day, you're gonna owe a lot of money. We're gonna owe a lot of money. Who do we owe all this money to? ourselves, and then you're gonna, instead of getting other, because little by little it'll just like trickle down. Oh, we need to, go get this country, and at the end of the day, we're floating on this little marble with X amount of resources that we've got together, whatever it is, water, oil, minerals, salt, bath salts, you name it, whatever it is, it's the X amount of resources that we are all dependent on it, and we need to be sharing and caring, essentially. So I'm saying, run a simulation, simulate it, let's get stimulated together, and yeah, so this is Christmas. It's Christmas, that's what it is. And everybody on December 25th came to their senses, and business was not as usual, and damn, we changed it, didn't we? Together we changed it. And all it took was one silly, medium-sized man doing one silly, medium-sized podcast. And of course, and many other people doing many great things. But it starts with us, is what I'm trying to say. And it stops with us. It starts and stops with us. Where does it start? Where does it end? Well, this ride is going on forevers, baby. I'm all about it. Just let me know what the program is. We'll run the program. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all the moms and dads out there. Shout out to all the family members wherever you are in and around this beautiful planet. All the beautiful people doing amazing things. Thank you for all the support. If you've been with me for some time now, giving it right back at you. Merry Christmas. If you've just joined us today, just a silly old man, not an old man, not a young man either, somewhere in the middle, doing it. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram, on YouTube, on patreon.com/robsadri. And we talk about everything and nothing. Everything and nothing. And I come in here and I try to give you what I got from right here, from the heart, right there in the old ticker. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, where whatever you're celebrating out there, whether again, maybe Kwanzaa, maybe Hanukkah, maybe Christmas. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I love you all, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun in the new year as well, because we've had fun up until this point. We're gonna have more fun moving forward as well. Baby boys, baby girls, thank you for all the love and support. I love you all. Yeah, it's a hell of a journey, and we're just getting started. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart, and see you guys back here again on Monday. Love y'all. Peace out.